Great question from Lewis III. He asks, if you drive another car to your stronghold, can you scrap it? Can you get scrap for it?
No, you cannot get scrap for it. There are cars called scrapulances that are full of scrap, and if you drive them to your stronghold, they do give you a scrap bonus.
And it's worth pointing out real quickly, we don't have to drive there, and I don't want to waste too much time on it, but actually on that, it's right to the left. It's that big, it's the Top Dog outpost right there.
So those scrap ambulances are basically just big old trucks full of scrap. And you find them, you bring them back to your base, and you get a big a scrap bonus. So we can actually show you that right now. This is a good tip for making money when you can't find storms. And as you sort of liberate these camps, every 20 or 30 minutes or however long it is in game, it's fairly frequent, they'll just sort of donate scrap to your cause. So the more camps you have under your belt, the more scrap you're getting on a constant basis.
One thing that actually really irked me, and I was surprised was not a feature.
This is a minefield.
Yes, it is. I've always blazed through these and have never paid the price for it.
Really?
Yeah, I was just go. In fact, I did donuts in one because I didn't understand what the icon was.
So basically, how you get through minefields, or why they're there, is the dog that you find in the beginning in Chum's buggy. He becomes literally your minesweeper. Like he can, for whatever reason, the dog can smell mines.
Yep.
And so,
hey, there are rats, and there are large mammalian creatures that make a living on bananas. There's a whole viral video about it that sniff out mines, and they're extremely effective.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there you go. So Max's dog, or Chum's dog, whoever's dog it is.
Someone's dog.
I think it's a community dog at this point. It's named Dinky D.
Dinky D.
Or the dog.
Dinky D dog.
Actually, that's something I really like. Like the dog food left over in the wasteland is called Dinky D. And so Chum Bucket calls the dog Dinky D because that's how he associates it.
Chum Bucket, for being kind of the token comedic relief character, is actually pretty funny.
Yeah,
I do enjoy his exposition.
He's also sort of the narrative heart. Like he's the one that's really invested in the magnum opus and Max. And as his story progresses, it does actually succeed and to touches home a little bit. But
interesting.
But that dog. That dog, you drive into a minefield, and he'll bark in the direction that the mine is, and you get closer to it, and he'll make different noises depending how close you are. And then you disable the mines, and you lower the threat in the area. But this is a scrapulence. It's a truck that's just so full of scrap. And I'm driving the wrong way here, so we need to make a left. So you take this back to your stronghold, and you get a big old scrap bonus. Right. So anytime you see these cars, it's worth it to sort of use your harpoon to pull the door off, pull the driver out, commandeer the vehicle, and then drive it back to your stronghold.
I was just ramming them over and over again.
Were you really?
Yes.
You can destroy them. You can destroy them out in the wasteland.
They do have a scrap explosion, if you will.
Yeah, but it pales in comparison to what you get when you bring it home.
Interesting. Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind. Tips and tricks, ladies and gentlemen, the name of the stream.
Tips and tricks.
So one thing that kind of irked me early on, and frankly I'm surprised it's not a feature, is that you can't collect scrap by driving over it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that's not a thing. Because you get into these epic Fury Road status chase scenes where you're, like, chasing a convoy, which we will do, mark my words.
It's coming. It's coming up.
And then you, like, destroy a car, and a bunch of scrap goes flying off to the side, and then, like, you're left with a decision of, do I stop and get the scrap?
Stop and get out?
No. You continue and destroy the convoy and get the little
sometimes it is like, do I really want to get out of my car for 4 scrap?
No.
Right?
Yeah. At a point, it's just like,
12 scrap.
It's like that time you dropped a nickel and you were like, is it worth bending now?
Yeah.
No.
Is bending over worth 5 cents to me? No, it's not in any way. And that's why we're all super lazy now.
Yeah.
So,
Jurassic Frap wants to know, if you drive a car to your stronghold, I assume he's talking about a car that is not the Magnum Opus. Can you customize it? The answer is no.
No, the answer is no. They are basically default, and we have a patrol on our tail coming up real fast.
We do.
But I think we're going to make it to the stronghold before they get there.
Just got to get over the bridge before the Headless Horseman gets you.
It's a very Sleepy Hollow vibe to
it. But it's worth mentioning that the Magnum Opus is customizable to oblivion and back.
To the nth degree. Yeah,
yes, it is
super
fantastic.
Customizable. None of the other cars are.
We'll show that in a second as soon as we get our scrap.
So here we go. Scrap delivered, and it should say how much we got. It's
100-some probably.
Okay.
Well, we got a new vehicle.
Now we have the scrapulence. We can drive it around. Not that you would ever want to.
Could you drive the scrapulence back?
Let's figure it out. Let's do it. I was just thinking that. Like, can you? So these are all the different cars that you can get. Some of them do interesting things, like have boosters or are
spikes,
and their tires have spikes on them that grind into others. But by and large, they're all just fairly.
You can get the Interceptor again. Spoilers.
I don't know. Can you? Maybe
it's in the bottom left.
James,
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
So yeah, let's get into Scrapulence, and then it was a couple hundred I think we just got. So let's get into Scrapulence.
Just turn right around.
We'll flip up
Out of
a U-turn here.
You didn't get the objective, so I'm going to go ahead and say probably not. But what you can do with the Scrapulence is you can just go to that place where it spawns over and over again and just ram it and reload your save file. You will keep the scrap, but the Scrapulence will respawn. That being said, I don't know if it's...
the collection.
No scrap. I don't know if that's time effective compared to the amount of scrap you get organically as well as in storms and stuff like that.
And in these strongholds, there are strongholds dotted throughout the world. You can complete projects that add things to max. For example, there's a scrap collector project. When you find enough parts of it and come in and spend the money to build it, every time you destroy a car in the wasteland, like the scrap collectors will come out and like pick up the scrap for you and like add scrap to your total. So it's nifty little perks like that for completing strongholds, and really, it's an incentive for filling out strongholds.